Then you start looking for what really happened there. And that's where actually the site can work. And I found this site really very fascinating. Now we have, the state has taken some of the initiatives. They have identified the killing fields, and they're constructing memorial site. And what happened that the Department of Architecture, they designed one particular design, and they are putting it into every memorial site. So this is a statist version. When the state overtakes the popular stories, this is how they operate. And those sites are maybe very eye-catching, maybe aesthetically is very sound, but they does not actually communicate. In that way, the simple site does in Boroitala killing field. And then what happened about 2 years ago, I again went to Boroitala, and I found that that simple structure was demolished. And there they are constructing a huge, some kind of symbolic sculpture with tiles and all kind of massive wealth that was reflected into the construction. And it was a very sad experience for me that how we can ruin a site of the potential stories or the strength that the site can tell to the people. And I think that's a very important learning experience for us also. And when we start this museum, this was the great challenge for us, that how to make the memory speak to the new audience. And I think that's the challenge of memorialization. When we talk about memorialization, it is not collecting evidence, collecting artifacts, collecting memorabilia, but also interpreting it in a way that it will communicate with the visitor. And for us in the museum also and in the memorial site, that's the major challenge. And in the museum, what we found that museum can present an overview of history, but at the same time, museum should focus on the human story, on the story of a particular person, and that actually carries the strength of the museum. We have an overview of this history from our colonial period to 1971 December, culmination of the victory in our liberation struggle, but we have also many human story which adds with that and which takes its power of its own. And the actual killing fields is also very interesting in a way that if we can use it in an innovative way, then it can really have a successful communication. And what we did in Jallatkhana killing field in Mirpur, that it was a killing field which we have excavated in 1999. We have excavated a lot of skulls and bones, and then how to do a memorial site there, what things we should do. And that was a big challenge, and then we have many discussions among ourselves, and at the end we came up with a simple design where we have the epitaphs with the list of all the killing fields in Bangladesh, so that every visitor who is from Bangladesh can relate not only with that site, but also from his own, we call it home, body, his own district, or the place from where he belongs. So he can identify many of the killing fields. And when the construction was going on, we found in one afternoon an old man came, and he was looking through it, and then he touched one of the names in the epitaph, that is in Nauga, some modern cinema killing field. Because in that killing field, he has lost his near ones. So these are the way that you can actually connect the people with the actual site. And when they make the travel, we have also the list of the major genocide of the 20th century, that as I have explained in the morning. And when you enter into the actual pit where the people were butchered and dumped into the pump house, then we just put a bell, that he will ring a bell, which will be a resonance of memory. And on the doorstep is written what happened here. Because it is the question that you have to search by yourselves. The site will not tell you everything. So it is your duty to get into the story and to seek more information. And inside, you come to in the mouth of the pit, and very simply, we have paid a tribute to the martyrs and put very few memorabilia, and no skulls, no bones were displayed there. So it's a minimalist architecture, and we were really in doubt that whether this will convey the message to common people. Many of them are not so literate or articulate, but at the end we found that it really could make the communication. And when he comes up, we have a place for pondering to sit, because it becomes a bit heavy for him. Then in another room, we put a dossier where we have not only the names of those whom we could identify who were martyred in that place, but we also have their portrayal, that who this person was, what was his age, what was his hobby, what was his profession, what was his family. And we took the stories from the family members, from the junior members of the family. And also we have, in most cases, we do not have any photograph of the people who were killed there. But we have we put also photographs of his siblings or the new members of the family, or even their family portrayal, and also the story of that particular person. So it goes on relating with the person that was killed. Not only he was killed in 1971, but the life actually goes on. And that's the way actually the whole community surrounding the killing field, they are also got interested into it. And what we found very interesting, and which I think can be replicated in Bangladesh, that those who were killed in the particular killing field, they were really fragmented and scattered people. And now when there is a memorial site, they all come together, and they also came to know each other. So it is a kind of bondage that they have developed among themselves, because previously they know that the dead body was not found, he was a missing person, and they only know that this was the site where he was killed. So this has also given a kind of new strength to the whole memorialization. And what we found, that memorialization is a very big challenge, but it's also a very creative challenge, and you have to work into memorialization in a creative way. And now when we go to the students, to different communities, we encourage them to identify the local killing fields and also to work by themselves with that killing fields. And so we say ongoing movement that has been initiated by this process, and I think this is the challenge of memorialization, and this is also the strength of memorialization, that it is a never-ending process, and it gives you more and more strength as you work into it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. You've enlightened us on how you've risen to the challenge. May I then, with your permission, turn to the other members of the round table and address these issues, which really they're legal issues, and they're two. I think they're two starting points. The one starting point is, of course, the International Crimes Tribunals Act of 1973 of the state of Bangladesh, and the other is, you know, this what I find to be the modern usage of what in days gone by, when people were believers, they spoke when they saw things that caused injustice, they spoke about evil. These days, it seems to me that people in the street, when they see something which they are angered by or which involve injustice, they use the word genocide. It seems to me that this word is used in a very imprecise way. So with those two starting points, I wonder whether I could be more specific and ask you to address really a number of legal issues. The one is the issue of who gets prosecuted. The second issue is what are the charges against the person against whom the prosecutors wish to proceed. The third question is the question in which forum is this going to take place. And then the fifth question, the fourth question is with what law? And the fifth question is with which procedural standards, okay? So let me begin with my friend on the right, or on Professor Clark, and move down the line.
Thank you. I would like to make a general point, Keith. It's been a fascinating day, and I'm delighted to be here with the rump audience that's left late on a Sunday afternoon, the absolute hard